Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dan the Man Talks Real Estate, and I am your host, Dan the Man. And this is where we talk all things real estate. And I am your host again, Daniel Mazrobian, and I am a broker associate with eXp Realty, Elite Builders. And real quickly, Elite Builders, what we are really is just a nation of agents and brokers across the country who really just take real estate and kind of raise it a few levels, from our service to our knowledge to our contribution to other agents, to society, things of that nature. We really are always just looking to raise our game, and in all facets, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, and financial. We're always looking to grow and move forward. So we are a nation of elite builders, and I'm very proud to be a part of that. So if you want to learn more about that, you can DM me, DM Elite Builder to my TikTok or my Instagram, and I will send more information to you about it. And again, it is through Elite Builders, through eXp Realty, and yeah, we can talk about that more at the end of the show too, because there are some platforms that being an Elite Builder, you are part of the Elite Builders, you are able to get access to. So like the value stack that we offer is it's just second to none. So we'll talk about that later. So on this show, in this episode today, so as agents, we are obviously, and brokers, we are in the service industry. Yes, to all my agents and brokers out there, yes, we are in the service industry. So being that we are, let's talk today about prospecting, finding new clients, servicing your clients, finding new business, how to serve them, what to say to those clients when you're initially on the initial call or initial meet, things of that nature. So we're going to go over all of those things today, as far as what to do and how to actually prospect. Because I'm aware that a lot of agents out there that if you're newer, you really don't know how to do that. So what we're going to do is go over all of those facets of prospecting and what it takes. So first thing is, I guess we could say, is your tools. What do you need to actually prospect? So I'll share with you my experience, and then, you can kind of build it off of that if you'd like. So really what you need first, it depends what you're going to be prospecting as far as what lead source. You're going to be going after expireds, maybe for sell by owners, just listed, just solds, areas like that. So if you're going to go after those, you're going to need lists. And so where do you get those lists from? A lot of times your MLS, whatever MLS you're part of, can offer you those lists for free. I am also aware that if you use like a dialer to call out those dialers, you can pay for those lists through the dialer. So by a dialer, I mean like you pay a service and they dial out numbers for you off those lists. So there are 3 dialers that I'm aware of that are prominent ones that agents use. The first one is Mojo. The second one that I know of is RedX. Third one is Vulcan. Some of them from the agents that I talk to every day and across the country, they'll use one of 3. I think the prominent one most used is Mojo. Vulcan's also a good one as well. RedX is good too. And some of them have triple line dialers too, so you can dial out 3 numbers at the same time to like an expired or for sale by owner, or just listed, just sold. You can do things called circle prospecting, which is just taking an area and prospecting that area around a listing that you may have there or that your company has there. So in regards to the triple line dialers and things of that nature, they range from, I'd say like $250 a month to maybe $450 a month as far as their service goes. And then again, you can pay for different lead sources, which is expired, for sale by owner, just listed, just sold, things like that. So, and I really look at it like this. I know if you're a newer agent and you're thinking, this is a lot of money for me to put out every month, you have to try to look at it as you're investing in your own business. You have to look like this is your business. You are your own boss, and the money that you put out every month, it's a business expense and you can write it off too, but look at it like you're investing in yourself. This is a way for you to earn income and also to build your database as well. So when you service these people at the absolute highest level you can, they become raving fans of yours and really will refer friends, family, colleagues to you because you've served them at the highest level possible. And the expireds and the for sale by owners and the lead sources like that, most of the time they're not having a pleasant experience with their previous broker because the property didn't sell. So, a lot of times when you call them, maybe they are happy with their agent and maybe they pulled it off the market for a reason. But most of the time when you run into them, it'll be something along the lines of, well, the house didn't sell, so you tell me how my agent is. Things like that. So I've run into that a lot actually this morning. So moving on from that. So yeah, again, look at it like you're just investing in your own business because you really are. These are tools and things you're going to need at some point to really, increase your business, branch out as other than like your family and friends and things like that. You're going to need to, if your idea and your goal of your business is to expand and have it kind of operating with more than one lead source, these are things that you're going to need to do. So those are triple line dialers. And then, so that's the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need lists and how to call out of those lists. I'd probably say when you start, you can just use your own phone and call those lists yourself. If you're finding that you want to get more and you want to have a bigger, you want to be on the phone longer, maybe a triple line dialer may be a good investment for you. So the second thing that you're going to need when you prospect are scripts, knowing what to say and how to say it and saying it with confidence. So when I first started, we can go and talk about what I did. So I did mention to you that I'll show you what I did. So the first thing I did when I started, a decade ago or longer, is I just got these lists from my previous broker and just started calling them, not knowing remotely what to say, how to ask the right questions so I can serve these clients in the best way that I can. I had no idea. And 90 to 95% of the phone calls went nowhere. And then I noticed that different agents that had a lot of success on the phones were saying the same things over and over again. And when I noticed that, I pulled one aside and said, you basically say the same thing to everybody that you talk to on the phone. And they're like, well, yeah, that's because most of the situations are the same. And this is how, if you can say the same thing to someone and get, a ratio of, let's say, for every 20 to 25 people you talk to, an appointment comes from one of them, it's a pretty good ratio. And I took that and said, all right, well, how did you learn what to say? And then they pulled out scripts and said, well, I just followed the script. This is a script. I did the same thing. Things changed. Then I got involved with an organization, very prominent one that most agents, I think, use, and got with them for a few years. And then once I was really kind of got my feet wet, I ended up coming over to Elite Builders. And again, it just the business just kind of took off, and we'll talk about that probably more towards the end of the show, as far as if some of you are interested in Elite Builders and what they have to offer as far as scripts and lead sources, proximity to real heavy hitters and people that are just really interested in contribution and serving agents to make them the best they can be. So again, and then scripts. When you learn what to say, you can say anything that you want with confidence because you understand and know what to say in every situation. So it can help serve your clients, old clients, new clients, ones that that are referred to you. You can understand and know what questions to ask to help serve them the best way you can, and it's good in any situation. With an expired, with a for sale by owner, with a just listed, just sold. If you're pre-qualifying them to make sure that they are ready, willing, and able to sell the real estate that they're saying that they would like to, their motivation is there. They have all the decision makers are there. You have an idea on where realistically they want to list the home. Is it an option for them not to sell the home and still make that move? That's an important question to ask. These are all questions that you'll know off the top of your head once you become a master at scripts and what to say and how to say it. So we'll go over that in a little bit. We're actually going to go over a pre-qual, and we can go over in some detail an expired script. So, and what we'll do is also I'll go over with you guys is things that sellers will say to you or share with you, and they sometimes can be like a unique situation where they have other options as opposed to not selling. They can keep the property, they can rent it out, things of that nature. We'll go over those as well. Are you looking to master your skills, increase your income? Can't find reliable role play partners every morning? If you answered yes to any of these questions, just subscribe below. Click the button for more information on how to be an elite partner with us to join the Role Play Mastermind Group. What the Role Play Mastermind Group is a bunch of agents that have committed to showing up every morning, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, with scripts in hand to role play those scripts, to master them so they can speak with confidence on any appointment that they go on. If this is something that is of interest to you, again, just subscribe below and we'll get you information on how to join the role play group. Again, it is for agents that are really serious and committed to mastering their skills of what to say, how to say it, and how to say it with confidence. So when they go on appointments, when they're talking to prospective clients for the first time, they understand the questions to ask so they can really serve these clients the best that they can. Again, this is the Role Play Mastermind. DM me, Role Play, to Instagram or TikTok, or again, just subscribe below, click the button, and we'll send you information on how to be a part of that. So now, speaking about scripts, obviously the second part of prospecting is scripts. The first part is the tools that you need, which is leads, and then scripts. So scripts. When you're calling different lead sources, whether it's expireds, whether it's for sale by owners, whether it's just listed, just sold, if you want to just hit a specific area, if you know that your office or you have listed a property in that area, there are questions that you can ask when you get somebody on the phone that are really important to know, so you can figure out if this person's motivated, if this person has the means to sell, and if they're really serious about actually selling. So let's take an expired, for example. You're calling and your lead source is expireds, and you're going to be calling some expireds. They were listed. Now remember, these people were listed for 6 months, most likely. They didn't sell. I don't know the experience that they had. Usually it's not a positive one because the home didn't sell, and it didn't sell for 6 months. It's not like it was on the market for a month and it didn't sell. This is 6 months. So these people had plans. The plans didn't come through, and now the day that it expires, they are getting bombarded with other agents calling them to try and get their listing. So this is what's inside an expired listings seller's head when everybody's calling them. When you call them, you're going to come from this from a different perspective. Not the, I can sell your house, and this is what I can get for it, and I can do it, and I can do it. I. It's going to get you nowhere, and it's not. It isn't what the seller. Number one, isn't what they need, but number two, it isn't what they want. You're going to get a question out, and they're just going to hang up on you. But if you come to them from a place of contribution, of trying to figure out what happened, why they're trying to do what they're doing, and then see if you can actually serve them and help them, now you're coming from a place of contribution. And the likelihood that you're at least going to get a few questions out is a lot higher than coming at them with, I can sell your house, I can get you this, I can do this. Again, you can go that route if you want. I don't think that that's going to bear much fruit. So first question that when I call an expired, one of the first questions I ask is, hi, my name is Daniel. I was calling about the home that was for sale on 123 Main Street. Did I happen to reach the owner? Yes. Okay, great. Again, my name is Daniel. I'm actually a real estate broker right in your area. Was calling to find out, did that home sell, or is that home still available? Now they'll tell you it's still available. It didn't sell. Okay. If you don't mind me asking, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what happened? I'm looking at the property online. It looks in great shape. You're obviously on, Main Street. You're on a great block. What happened? How come the home didn't sell? And this is where they're going to tell you 100 things about what their broker did, their agent did, that they weren't happy about, or what they didn't do. And they're going to share all of that information with you. Take notes. And then usually my next question is, wow, that's interesting. I'm sorry you had that experience. Number one, again, I'm looking at the home here. It looks like it's in great shape. I see the pictures. If you can share with me, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, was there a particular reason you were even looking to sell the home in the first place? Now you're going to get their motivation as to why they're doing what they're doing. And this is probably the most important question that you can ask them. Why someone's doing what they're doing. And they're going to tell you, all the kids are in college. We don't need a 5-bedroom house. My wife and I are having another baby. We need to get a bigger home. I don't want to deal with the maintenance anymore. We're retiring, and we want to move to Florida. We have family there, and we're going to get a condo. Okay, great. Tell me more about that. What's bringing you to that area? Now they'll tell you that. Friends in the area. I'm tired of shoveling snow. I don't want to mow grass. Things of that nature. Okay, great. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with me about that? They'll probably tell you some more. I'll ask that question until they say, no, that's it. And I have almost a page full of notes as to why they're doing what they're doing. And then the next question is in terms of, time frame, because that's really what's most important here, how soon are you looking to make the transition happen? And this is where you'll get last month, 6 months ago, yesterday, because remember, they were on the market 6 months and it didn't sell. So, that's the next question. So now you have their time frame. And then, you seem like somebody who seems like, you understand what's going on. What do you think stopped the home from selling? Now they'll tell you, the agent didn't do this. The agent didn't do that. The market stinks. I don't know. Whatever the reason is, they're going to give it to you. My neighbor sold their house $50,000 less. We weren't willing to do that. We had offers. We just didn't take them. So they're going to give you another answer to that question. And then you can piggyback on that. And if they tell you that they had offers, oh, wow. Okay, so I just want to understand. So you had offers on the property. It just doesn't sound like from, what you're sharing with me that they were where you wanted them to be in order for you to make the move. And if they tell you yes, now you have, because you have been on there, the list price of what it sold at. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if I'm seeing right, it looked like the list price was $800,000. Are you sharing with me that you didn't get offers that were in that range? No. Okay. So I can help serve you best. Can you mind letting me know where those offers were? Sometimes they'll tell you, sometimes they won't. But now what this lets you know is their motivation to actually sell the property. Because if the property was listed at $800,000 and maybe they were getting offers at, say, $750,000, $760,000, and they said no, that's important because it'll let you know how serious they are about actually selling the property. So you can piggyback on that question with, okay, so it sounds like, were the offers in like the 750, 760 range? And if they say yes, okay, what prevented you from taking those offers? And now we get down to the nitty gritty. We wanted higher. Okay, and I just want to make sure that I understand, you shared with me previously that you were looking to get to Miami by, March. Is that still the case, or has something changed? And, well, we didn't get our number. Okay, so is it an option for you not to sell this home and still make the move to Miami? Well, we really just wanted to get, 800,000. That's really the number that we had in the top of our minds. Okay. And it sounds like you were getting offers. They just weren't where you wanted them to be. Are you okay not moving and staying where you are? Because it sounds like you had people that were willing to purchase, buy the home at the price that the buyers are willing to offer. It sounds like you just weren't happy with those offers, and maybe you can just stay where you are. Is that an option? And they'll let you know. Well, yeah, I mean, we do want to sell it, and we want to sell it for the number that we want. Okay. And I mean, in terms of motivation, 10 being I really want to sell the property and we're ready to go. 1 being, hey, if it sells, great. If it doesn't, no problem. Where would you put yourself? Now, me personally, I'm looking for like 8s, 9s, and 10s, really. 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s. 7s, you got to make a business decision on that. But those are really the ones that I'm looking for. If you get anything earlier than that, 6 and below, the motivation just really isn't there. They might have just been testing the market out to see what they can get, and they can keep the property. So these are important questions to ask. Again, to know, whether this seller that you're talking about as an expired is somebody who's actually motivated. And then you can kind of get into, what do you think your agent maybe could have done differently to get the property sold? Maybe they should have done an open house, or, they weren't communicating with us. That's the one that I hear a lot. The agent wasn't communicating with us. So, with myself and most of the elite builders, we have a schedule where we talk to the sellers every 7 to 10 days. So what's happening with their listing, it is not a surprise to them, everything that's going on, because you're communicating with them every week to week and a half. So they know what's happening. So, but when you get somebody who's actually very motivated, we really just need to get the property sold. We don't want to do another winter here in New Jersey. We're ready to move. Okay. What will you expect from the next agent that you choose? It's a great question. And you'll always sell the property. We want to get it sold. Sell it. And, keep open lines of communication. I do get that a lot too. So, once you hear that, then it's kind of, all right, well, based on what you've been kind enough to share with me, I'm really hearing a couple things. Number 1 is that if you did receive an offer that was reasonable to you and acceptable, you would still sell the property. And number 2, really through no fault of your own, it just sounds like you weren't getting the service that you had expected to receive from the agent that you hired. Now, with that said, may I make a suggestion? Yes. And you close. So what I'd love to do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, in your area all the time, love to just simply pop by, see what the home has to offer in person. And while I'm there, we can discuss 2 things very clearly. Number 1, what happened, why the property didn't sell, and what changes we may need to make, very small ones, I'm imagining, since you did have offers, to get those offers on the table, the buyers competing with each other, getting you the most amount that they're willing to pay. And then number 2 is your net bottom line. What you can realistically expect to receive when we're at the closing table and we're signing papers. That's an assumptive close. And then, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, whether it's now or later, me or even somebody else, at least you've met with a top agent in your area. You'll have all the information you need to make the best decision you can for yourself and your family. Does that sound fair to you? Yeah, it sounds fair. Okay, perfect. So under optimal conditions, are you generally available evenings or afternoons better for you? No, I mean, probably evenings since we both work. Okay, great. So today's Tuesday. I'm looking at looking at the calendar here. Would Thursday at 6 or would Friday at 7 be better for you? Friday at 7. Okay, great. And now you've asked enough questions to at least get the appointment, and then leads into the pre-qual script. And the pre-qual script is really important because now what this basically is a script that questions, they're line item questions to ask to make sure that the appointment that you're going to go on is an appointment that can lead to an active listing that can actually lead to a sold property. So then after you get the appointment with your expired call, you're going to now roll right into – now, you're going to roll into a pre-qual, but I'm aware that when I was starting and, when I didn't know – really when I just didn't know, I would just go on the appointment. Oh, my God. I would do like cartwheels at home, and I'm high-fiving, and I got an appointment. And I go, and one of the decision makers isn't there. I comp the house to something that maybe their house wasn't comparable to. The list price that they want to list it at is a pie in the sky number as to what's really trading in their area. These are things that I didn't know and ask when I was, starting, because I was just so happy to get the appointment. So now I don't have that problem anymore, because you understand how to pre-qualify somebody to make sure that the appointment you're going on is one that can lead to a sold home. So once you get the appointment, I generally will say, I appreciate that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Great. So we have the, Wednesday at 3. Now, in order for me to just serve you best and maximize our time, I just have a few quick questions to ask before I come out. Okay. And they'll say, okay. Usually they'll say, okay. And then I'll reiterate why they are selling the home. So, you were kind enough to share with me the main reason you're looking to sell the property is you're looking to get to the Gables Estates in Miami. Is that right? Yes. Okay, great. And again, in terms of time frame, and you could actually piggyback on that. Tell me a little bit more about that. What was bringing you down there? They'll give you all that information again. I have family there. We want to be snowbirds. We just don't want to be in New Jersey anymore. Whatever the case may be. And then you'll piggyback on that. So ideally, in terms of time frame, how soon you're looking to make the transition happen? As soon as possible. Okay, great. Now, so it sounds like if, once we go to market, assumptive close, and a buyer comes to me and says, hey, Dan, I'd like to close this in maybe like 45, 60 days. It sounds like the time frame would actually work really well for you. Is that right? Yeah, that time frame would work well. Okay, perfect. And now you've already assumptively closed them. When we go to market, it's an assumptive close. So that's number one. And then you'll ask, now I'm wondering as far as a move is concerned, because I'm aware you probably had this option at your disposal for a while. It's my job to serve you. So I just want to ask, is it an option for you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, to not sell this home and still make the move to Miami? Maybe rent this home out? Usually they'll say no. No, we really want to just, be done, be clean with the home. We don't want to have any ties to New Jersey, or we want to take the funds from this sale and take it down to Florida or wherever they're going. Okay, great. So it sounds like in order for me to get you what you want in the time frame that you want, it's really just going to require me to help you, net as much money as we can on this sale. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Excellent. Now you have that. If they say yes, yeah, it is an option for us to rent the home. Oh, okay. Well, tell me about that. Let them tell you. We don't need to sell the property. We could rent it if we don't get our number. Okay. And have you ever been a landlord before? Well, no. Okay. And you did share with me that you're looking to get to Miami. So, are you thinking about hiring a management company or somebody up here to help you with that? Now, again, they'll either tell you yes or no. Yeah, we have somebody that we can hire to manage the property because, we don't need to sell it. We're really just looking for a specific number. If that's the case, you have a business decision to make as to whether you're going to go on that appointment, because it is an option for them not to sell it. You can probe further and find out, well, really, let me ask Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is plan A to sell the home or is plan A to rent the home? Well, no, really, we'd like to sell it. Okay. Well, I'm more of a plan A guy myself. So let's focus on getting the property sold for you so we can get you what you want, which is down to Miami with clean ties. Okay? Perfect. And they'll say, obviously, they're going to say yes. Great. And it leads me to my next question. I'm aware that you sound very excited about getting the property sold. I'm wondering, is there any other decision makers that would be, beneficial to sit in on our meeting? Maybe somebody else on title. Now you'll find out who's on title and who's, part of the decision. Yes, it's my wife. Okay, great. And what's your wife's name? Lori. Awesome. And I'm looking forward to meeting Lori, and I'm imagining she'll be at our meeting, right? And he'll say yes. I ask that as if she's going to be there, not will Lori be available for the meeting. No, I want it to be understood that she's coming. So I always ask it as like it's inferred. So yeah, and I'm imagining Lori will be at our meeting too, right? Yeah, she'll be there. Okay, great. Now, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, nobody knows your home as well as you do. So with that said, share with me any changes or modifications that you've done to the home that you feel could affect its value in some way. Now they're going to tell you all the things that they've done to the inside and the outside of the home. And this could go on for a while because everybody is going to tell you all the wonderful and great things about their home that they've done to it and why their home is the best home that's ever been constructed. Okay? So they'll share with you all that information, and then I can see here, Mr. and Mrs. So I'm looking at the pictures. Everything looks great. You've really kept the home in perfect condition. I'm really looking forward to getting my photographer out there to get it shot and really just presenting it to the public in the best way possible. So, and I'll let the buyers and their agents know about all the potential upgrades that you've done to the home. Okay? Yeah, that's another assumptive close because you're already letting the buyers and the agents know. That's like assumptive close number, I think 2 or 3. So, and you can now you're going to go into price. So now I'm wondering as far as price is concerned, imagine you've done a little bit of homework in preparation, for getting the property on the market. I'm wondering, do you have any idea at all realistically about what you were thinking of listing the home for at this time? And now you're going to find out realistically where their mind is as far as, I guess, number one, why the home didn't sell if it was price and they priced it too high. Number two, where their mind is. And a lot of times what I get with that is, well, I want you to tell us what the price is. You're the agent. And I'm going to say, hey, I truly appreciate that. And that is my intention, provided the opportunity is to help you net every penny possible. And I want to let you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that I'm going to be very candid and very straightforward with you regarding price and value. Does that sound fair to you? Yeah, that sounds fair. Okay, perfect. Because what we're going to be doing together as a team, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, myself, you, and your wife, is we're going to be looking at homes that are on the market right now and aren't selling. And we'll see, how long they've been on the market and why they're not selling. And then what we'll also do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is we're going to look at homes that are on the market that actually have sold. And what I mean by that is what a buyer, a seller, and a bank appraiser have all agreed to for a value of that home. And those will have closed in the last 3 to 6 months. Okay? And they'll say, yeah, okay, it sounds fair. Great. And then what we'll get from that information, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're not going to get a pinpoint to the penny. But what we will get is a nice realistic range regarding value and price of your home. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, great. And then what we'll also do is discuss strategy. Okay, because pricing your property is going to be a strategy in an attempt for us to get the most money we can out of those buyers. And we'll go over all the strategies you have at your disposal because really, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, at the end of the day, I really want you both to be very comfortable and confident with the strategy that we end up choosing for your home. Sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Okay, great. Now you've gone over all of those pricing scenarios with them. Okay, terrific. Now I'm also going to be preparing for you what's called a net sheet so you both can see what the proceeds will be to you at the end, again, when we're at the closing table and we're signing papers to close. Assumptive close. So in order for me to do that, I just need a rough idea. Do you have any mortgages or liens on the property, or do you own that property free and clear? And now they'll tell you, what they owe. Oh, we have a mortgage. It's probably about, $350,000. Okay, great. And if there's a decent bit of equity, maybe you want to take a step back and just say, hey, Mr. Mrs. I just want to say, you got a lot of equity to protect here. You've made some really good financial decisions over the life of this home, you owning it. and to have this much equity here. So just want to recognize that and say congratulations. We're really going to do everything that we can to get you the most amount of that equity back. Sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Excellent. Now, I'm going to send you over a package of information in preparation for our time together. What's the best email address for you? Then you get their email, and you can send you'll be able to send the package over, and perfect. And then you get that. And then what you can also ask at this point is now I'm also aware that you had mentioned to me you're going to be moving to Miami. Do you need help with some services down there of an agent? Because we do connect with a lot of agents across the country, and wondering if you need some help with getting the property down there if you're going to be purchasing. And if they say yes, you can obviously refer them and catch a referral fee on the back end of that sale too. If they're not and they already have something, no, we're okay. Okay, perfect. Now, that leads me to my next question. You mentioned to me before some of the things that your previous agent did that maybe could have been a little bit better. So share with me, Mr. and Mrs. So, what are you going to be looking for this time around in terms of the agent that you're going to be choosing? What are you looking for? And now they're going to tell you what qualities they want in an agent, whether it's communication, whether it's aggressiveness, whether it's just get the damn property sold. Whatever the case is, they're going to share with you everything that they're looking for in the agent that they want. Okay, and something that I've added to that is, they'll give me their qualities, and then what I'll do is, okay, so if I'm hearing you right, and I'm going to read it back to them, you're looking for somebody who's really going to have an open line of communication, very aggressive with marketing and selling the property, but at the same time, you're really looking for, somebody to just get the job done and get the property sold. Is that right? Yeah. Do you want to hear the good news, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Yeah, what's that? I feel supremely confident that myself and my team, we fit that criteria you're looking for. And at the end of our time together tomorrow, if you both feel the same way, we can just get the paperwork out of the way and get you both one step closer to that new house, that new condo, that new home in the Gables Estates in Miami. Does that sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Excellent. Now you've just really solidified with them that you're the guy for the job or the woman for the job. You're it. So now that you've solidified that with them, you can ask, I realize too, Mr. Marcel, I'm just a voice at the other end of the phone. So in that email that I'm going to send to you is going to be a link to our website, www.soldinnewjersey.com. There's also going to be a link to some past client reviews. We do have a stellar 5-star reputation with over 70 reviews online. Many of them, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, from clients just like yourself that we've had the pleasure of serving and helping get on to their next destination. Would you take a few moments and look at that before our meeting tomorrow at 3? Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Okay, perfect. Now, you strike me as somebody who's very direct and straightforward. I'm the exact same way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, which is probably why we ended up connecting today. So when we do meet tomorrow at 3, and you both just feel really, really confident and comfortable with myself and my team that we can help serve you, get you down to Miami in the time you want, but more importantly, just netting you the absolute most amount we can for your home, it sounds like you'd be open to the possibility of hiring me when we meet. Is that right? And this is a very important question because you're asking them that on the appointment, if they feel good about you, are they willing to sign paperwork? If they say no, now that's another question because you want to find out why. Isn't the purpose to get the property sold? So if they say, well, no, not really. We're not signing anything. Okay, well, I guess what I'm asking for is, are you open to the possibility of it? Now, when you word it that way, they usually will turn around and be like, yeah, you're open to the possibility of it. Okay, perfect. And that's really all we're asking for. It's just that you're open to the possibility of it. I mean, look, I'm really excited to, help you and excited to be a part of the move. Again, at the end of it, if you really feel comfortable with us, then we can just talk about getting the paperwork out of the way, getting those buyers walking through your home in the next 24 to 48 hours. So again, I'll have all the appropriate paperwork with me. And, if you both just feel like, you found what you're looking for, we can do the paperwork. And then again, we'll have our photographer out here in the next day or so to film this beautiful home, get you guys down to, Miami in the time you want. Does that sound fair? Yeah, it sounds fair. Okay, great. Now, I realize that I've asked you a lot of questions, and I really appreciate you giving me a few moments now. Are there any questions that you have for me before we meet tomorrow at 3? And here's where they'll probably ask you, what's your commission? How long's your agreement? Things like that. And you can address them, if they do ask it. How long is your agreement? Yeah, it's a great question. I'm imagining that underneath that question, you really just want to make sure that you're not getting stuck with another mediocre agent who isn't able to sell your home and you're locked in for another 6 months. Is that right? Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay. And what I can, we'll go over the options that you have with regards to how we structure the listing agreement. Because let me just, reiterate, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to come to an agreement on it where it's going to benefit you and it'll benefit us and everybody's happy. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, great. Well, what's your commission? That's a great question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Now, you have options with that. And when we meet, we'll go over all those options together as a team because I really want you both to feel very comfortable with the option that you end up choosing. Because a lot of that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is going to be determinant on how active you want the other agents to be showing your home. And we'll go over all the options you have. And again, I can just reiterate, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this would never be a reason that we wouldn't be able to do business together. Does that sound fair to you? Yeah, it sounds fair. Okay, great. Any other questions before we meet tomorrow at 3? No, I think you pretty much answered everything. Excellent. Well, let me say thank you. I really do appreciate the time you gave us today. I'm going to give you a ring tonight, roughly around, maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, to ensure 2 things. Number 1, that you receive the email that we sent out to you. And number 2, that the time we have tomorrow is working for you both. Sound good? Yeah, it sounds good. Excellent. Thank you again, and I'll talk to you tonight. And that's your pre-qual call. So now you've asked 10 very quick questions to make sure. Now, obviously, they're a little longer because I went over them with you, but they're 10 very quick questions you can ask to make sure that the client that you're talking to is ready, willing, and able to sell the property that they are looking to sell. So these are really important things to know when you're talking to people. And this is just off of learning and mastering scripts through a role play group. It's really all I did. I role played. So for me, what's true for me is once I learned that understanding scripts is really what's going to get you to the next level, serving clients on your income level. Once I learned that, it was 3 times a day. I role play, and I still role play 3 times a day, 7:10, 7:30, 11:30. And we have 2 of those role play groups available to you through eXp Realty, the Elite Builders. So again, if this is something that you're interested in, if you just listened to this and said, wow, I'd like to be scripted like that and know what to say and how to say it and how to say it with confidence, again, just take a minute, subscribe below, just, click the button, and we will send you all the information that you need so that, you can, I guess, get on your journey to increasing your confidence, increasing your income, and just increasing your database, your CRM, so you have more clients to serve. All right, now with the pre-qualification, we are looking for specific objectives and information to find out from the seller. We are looking for their motivation, how long they're looking to, what the time frame is in getting this sale accomplished, the decision makers, making sure all decision makers are going to be present at the meeting. We are finding out if it isn't an option for them to not sell the property and still make the move. Like basically, can they rent it or keep the property if they don't get the number that they're looking for? Is that an option? It's very important. We're also looking for condition of the home so we can properly compare it to other homes and give them an accurate number when you go and sit down with them. We're looking for the listing price. You want to know where they are as far as the number that they want to list the property at, because that's very important. We are also looking for properties as far as in the area, so you can put up and go over the strategies with them, the 2 pricing strategies. And we can go over those in another episode, which is the listing presentation itself. If you all are finding a lot of value with what I'm going over here and want me to go over a listing presentation, just drop comments in the comment box. And if, that's important, we can just do an episode on the listing presentation as if I'm sitting here and the seller's sitting there, and we'll go over the presentation together. Okay? So we're looking for that. We're also looking for if they, how much they owe on the property. That is really important because you want to make sure they have equity. What you don't want is the listing to be $800,000 and them owe $780,000 on the property. Now, there's no room for negotiation. There's no room for your professional fee, and so again, there's no equity there for any kind of room. So you want to know that. So how much they owe is a very important question. You also want to know what they're looking for in an agent. That's, it's paramount to know that. What are the qualities they want? You want to know also if they are motivated and prepared to be open to the possibility of signing with you when you go there. It's important as well because you want to make sure you're going to an appointment that someone's open to actually listing the property when you get there. So those are the objectives that you're looking for when you're going and pre-qualifying a potential seller to go out and help them with the sale of their home. So those are really important. So this is why I think pre-qualifying and the listing presentation itself are probably the two most important scripts that you as an agent or a broker need to have mastered. So when something comes your way, you can ask the right question to get the answer that is going to be important to you with regards to listing the property. So now I'd say let's take our Imagine hats and put them on for a minute. Now imagine you can handle phone calls. You're calling expireds. You're calling for sale by owners or just listed, just solds. You're on the appointment in person, and you can ask these questions off the top of your head 100% of the time, like all the time. It's just already in there. Like when you get in your car, you don't even think about putting the seatbelt on. You just put it on. You don't even think about pushing the button to turn the car on. You just do that. It's like second nature. Imagine having these questions in your mind as second nature. You've already got them mastered. They're already in there. Like life scenarios, just your life itself. Like you can ask these questions, and be question-based in life itself. It helps get you, progress with whatever you're looking for. So if you answered yes, again, all it is just role-playing every day and mastering the questions that need to be answered. So again, I'd say just, subscribe below, click the button, and we'll send you info on how to get involved in the one with agents around you that are so motivated and driven by, wanting to be better and do better and, give more, serve their clients more, you're going to be around agents that are like that. And it's a very motivating and inspiring group that we have in the role play group. So if this is something you want to get involved in, again, just subscribe below and reach out to us. We will send you all the info that we can. You can DM me role play to TikTok or Instagram, and we can do that as well. So now we're going to get into the book that I'm reading currently. And I tend to read this book when I'm struggling or just going through something in like a hardship in life. And, we all go through them. My defaults are when I go through hardships are, number one, I read, and number two, I give. So reading I find very calming. It really just puts me in a I get into my own world with it, whether I'm out at, there's a coffee shop in Hoboken that I love, that I'll go and sit and read all the time. And again, it's just very calming. I can just be in my own little world. And after a few hours of that, I'm not really thinking about the issues that I'm working through. So that's what reading does for me. And also giving, whether it's, time, money, an ear, somebody just needs you to listen to them, whatever the case may be. So whatever I'm called to do, as far as giving, I find that it always just changes my state and what I'm focusing on, and just helps get me out of that struggle. So the book that I'm reading at this time is Man's Search for Meaning. Now, I know many of you have read that book. It's a very, very popular book. This is my third time reading it. It is basically, it's the story of a doctor who was pulled from his home and put into the concentration camps in World War II. And he was in Auschwitz and went through. The book takes you through his mindset, and it's amazing how many times, like one of the things I take from the book is how many times this gentleman has basically looked death in the face, not knowing that he was looking death in the face. Because there would be times when the group that he was with were getting on a bus to go travel to another work site, quote unquote work site, and it wasn't a work site. They were basically taking them to bathhouses to take showers. It would say bath on these big outside structures, and it wasn't a shower. You'd basically go in and you weren't coming out. So it was gas chambers. And numerous times he'd talk about that, but because he was a doctor, some of the prisoner, they call them capos, people that headed the prisoners, they took a liking to him, and numerous times he wouldn't go on one of those journeys where you weren't coming back. And he just is very descriptive about it, and the book really puts you into where they were and gives you a real life experience of what it was like to be in that scenario for as long as he was, 3-4 years. And it just, not to minimize our issues and our problems, we all have them. Everybody struggles with something, and I do as well. Right now, I'm going through some things, nothing crazy. It's just, life gets hard. And the book just really puts into perspective that what I have going on really isn't that bad. And again, I'm not saying it to trivialize people's problems. We all have them. The old joke, you put 10 people in a circle, everybody puts their problems in the center, and you have a choice to take any problem you want. What does everybody do? They take their own problems back, because they realize that their problems really aren't that hard and serious compared to everybody else's. So I say that to say it just really brings me back and gives me perspective on what I'm going through, because really what I'm going through doesn't involve the 4 basic needs of survival, which are food, water, shelter, and air. And if you want to throw love into that, then it's 5. Like, I don't lack for any of those 4 or 5 things. So, do we really have problems? Yeah, I like to call them uptown problems. We have uptown problems, but we don't have problems like whether you're going to get on a bus and when you come back, you're basically not going to be back. So, this is what this book does for me. It's a really powerful book. I'd recommend it to anybody who, again, maybe you're just going through something you can't figure out how to get over that hump, and this may help you out with it. So again, Man's Search for Meaning, great book, and that's what it took me 3 days. I'm basically almost done with the book. It's that good. It's one of those you can't put it down, and I basically read it once a year. So it's power. It is power. So now with that, we are going to get into the Danism of the day. Now, this was shown to me years ago and really just struck a chord to where it's really made a difference in my mental sanity, because as an achiever, and I know many of you out there are achievers too, our mentality is that we want to just control everything, do everything ourselves, And, if we don't do it, then it ain't going to get done the right way. I'm aware of that, and that was my mentality for years and years and years. Then I understood this Danism, which is understanding the trichotomy of control. Well, what is the trichotomy of control? The trichotomy of control is three things, hence the trichotomy. Things that we have full control over, things that we have no control over, and things that we have partial control over, but not full control. So let's go over those. So number one is things that we have complete control over, and that is goals you set for yourself, your value system, your moods, what time you get up every day, what you do with your day, things like that. We should concern ourselves 100% with these things that we can control. And those you have, again, full control. Generally, they will emanate right in here in your heart of hearts. So these are all things internally that you can control. Things that are out of our control, we have no control over. Whether the sun will rise tomorrow, something someone says or does to us, your job, if you work for somebody else, you don't have control over whether, you can, you're going to be there tomorrow because you can get fired the next day. The weather, you can't control the weather. So these are things that I spend almost no time thinking about and focusing on because I have no control over what happens. And generally, these things, not even generally, they usually are all external. Nothing going on the inside. It's all external things. Usually they're physical things. So an external thing that I have no control over, I'm not really focusing very much of my time on it. Now, I used to, which is why my mental state was all over the place, just emotional and angry and frustrated and high levels of anxiety before I understood what is causing me to feel this way. So that's the second part. Now, the third part is things that we have some control over, but not full control. Now, that's like, let's go real estate, like whether you get a listing appointment or not. That's partially up to, you can present yourself in the best manner possible, and the seller can just decide to go with somebody else. Well, that's not fully in your control. It's partially, but not fully. Whether you, win or lose at a sport, it's affected by the other person that you're playing against. So you have some control over that, but not full. Things of that nature. If you can achieve the goals that you set, that's something you have partial control over, but not full. You're giving everything you got, but there could be outside circumstances that prevented the goal from happening. So those are things that I don't spend a lot of time on either, because again, I don't have full control over them. So why am I going to spend my precious breaths, my energy, my time thinking about it, focusing on it? And usually you're going to be getting frustrated at it because you don't have any control over it. So once I understood this, also things not in your control, people's opinions, traffic, your reputation, that's a big one, your reputation. You don't have full control over that. So to focus on things like that you don't have any control over, to me, was very fruitless once it was shown to me. And then once it was, you just kind of say to yourself, or I said to myself, what do I have control over that I can focus on that's going to get me closer to the goal I'm setting? What's going to make me better and wiser and stronger than I was the day before, the moment before, the hour before? What's going to cause me to do that? Well, what time I get up every day, what I fill my mind with, how often I read, how often I journal, how often I exercise, how often I role play, how often I practice, how often I prospect. These are all things that you have 100% control over, and I will guarantee you, if you focus on them, they will bear fruit and you will be a success. It doesn't have to be a financial success. That's not how I determine success. I determine success by, are you better? Are you wiser? Are you stronger than you were the day before? That's who I compare myself to, not to other agents that are out there, somebody at the gym that's bigger than me. Like, though, that means nothing to me. It doesn't matter. Who I was previously, am I better, wiser, and stronger than them? That's what I define success as. And if you follow these things and stick with what's you can control, which are generally things inside of your heart of hearts, it's gonna end up bearing fruit for you, and I guarantee you will be a success. So that's the trichotomy of control. I sincerely hope that this has helped you in some way, and you can use this to, get over that. If you're noticing yourself having a challenge, maybe this can get you over that challenge. So I hope it really was powerful and useful for you. Okay. So if you enjoyed this episode and found value, please share it with somebody who you think can also grow by listening to this content. Now, if you're an agent, or you're on a team, or you're just looking to invest in your future, click the subscribe button and comment below. Just give us some feedback and tell us more about what you want to know. Okay? You can also find me simply by subscribing to this channel at Dan the Man Talks Real Estate. Follow us on Facebook using the same handle. And you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Daniel Mesrovian. So thank you so much, everyone. Really enjoyed this episode. And remember, everyone, love your life. Catch you next time. Be well.